Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn have been recently fired by the Detroit Lions. However, we want to know what is next for Matt Patricia in the NFL as a defensive coach, and where do the Lions now go from here? Alright guys, let's eat.
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Edwin, aka King Jollof, and we are back again in the building, guys. Welcome back to the Jollof channel, and this time we have some news regarding the Detroit Lions. So, if you don't know by now, this will be a football video, so sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. Now, the Detroit Lions have just fired Matt Patricia, their head coach, or their former head coach, and their former GM, Bob Quinn. And I must say, this move is definitely overdue because the Detroit Lions have been struggling mightily. I'm talking about underperforming mightily over the past couple of seasons. I mean, you look at the couple of seasons in which they have Patricia as a head coach, not good at all, but we'll get into that. But this season, so the Detroit Lions are the first team in the NFL to lose 6 consecutive games in which they led by 10 points or more. And we thought that the Falcons were bad. I mean, seriously, guys. Listen to this, man. The Detroit Lions have been quietly blowing double-digit leads in the league. And no one has really focused on them too much because of the fact that the Falcons have been blowing, I would say, bigger double-digit leads. But the Detroit Lions are well up there too. Now, let's go into Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia, for me, was not a good head coach. He was not doing it. I mean, you have the Detroit Lions who fired Jim Caldwell after having back-to-back winning seasons. You fired Jim Caldwell because you believe that he isn't the guy to take this team to the next step, even though he just had a back-to-back winning season with the team. So they figure out that they want to hire Matt Patricia to kind of take that team to the next step, to elevate the play, and to hopefully get better in what they want to get better at, which is, making a better run at the Super Bowl. We get that. So, doesn't work out, obviously. Doesn't work out at all. His first season coming in, Matt Patricia comes in 6-10. Not good, not really, it's not even really average. Average is 8-8. It's not good at all, if you ask me. On top of that, next season comes, and they start off actually pretty well, 2-0 and 1. You get that, but Matthew Stafford, their starting QB, gets injured. Now it's kind of a tragedy that this happens because obviously you want your starting QB to be there, the guy who gives you the best chance of winning. And to me, Matthew Stafford isn't really the best right now. I think that he's kind of declining, but he still is, nevertheless, a good QB in the league. He still is. He still has it, if you ask me. But he's not what he was before, obviously. However, going back into that season, started off 2-0 and 1, and then they finished 3-12 and 1, losing 9 straight. So you could say that Patricia deserves a pass because the starting QB wasn't there, and his defense was actually pretty good that year. Maybe not that year, but yeah, his defense was actually not terrible. Not terrible considering where the Lions were last year. But the fact that you don't have Matthew Stafford is there, you have to give him some of a pass. But in this league is all about business moves, right? Business moves. It's all about results. And trust me, owners, presidents of a team do not care if the starting QB isn't there. They don't care if guys are injured. You got to make it work. If you're a head coach, you got to make it work. And obviously, Matt Patricia didn't make it work that season. They finished 3-12 and 1. Gotta give him that 1 point, gotta give him that one time. But obviously, it didn't work out. Now, in his sense, you give him another pass, which is what they did, because in other teams, they might give their head coach another chance to redeem themselves. After that, this season, fast forward into 2020, 4-7. That's not good at all. Fast forward into that's a shaky start, and because of that, they end up parting ways with Matt Patricia. And on top of that, the GM, Bob Quinn, who during his time as a GM wasn't a really good GM. He did not build the roster adequately to perform well and to compete, which is why he was let go. Now, going back to Matt Patricia, if you ask me, I think that what is the biggest thing that a head coach, whether defensive or offensive, what is the biggest thing that they must show on a team? Improvement, right? Matt Patricia is a defensive head coach. He's a defensive-minded head coach, and when he came in, right, you would want him to show some sort of improvement, which is what he did. So the Lions, before he came in, they were ranked 27th in total defense. Not good at all. That's kind of terrible if you ask me. When Matt Patricia came in, he shot him up to 10th in the league in total defense. That's really good. Top 10 defense. Imagine if you have Matthew Stafford, your starting QB, and a top 10 defense. The top 10 defense is great in itself. But having Matthew Stafford, who was, by the way, above average QB, I would say, back at that time, have him, they could have made some noise, if you ask me. But it didn't happen, obviously. What if? The what if game. So, in his time as a head coach, Patricia went 10th overall, 31st overall, and 27th overall in total defense. That to me is insanely terrible, if you ask me. 2 out of 3 is garbage. Like 31st, 27th, what happened to the 10th? You get me? Like he couldn't find a way to sustain that success that he had his first season as a defense, not the team itself, because obviously the team itself wasn't good at all. 6-10, 3-12-1, 4-7. That's not good at all. But the defense his first season was actually pretty good. And now, regardless if you have the talent or not, you have to show improvement, which is what he did his first season. But other than that, he could not sustain the success that he had, which is why he was let go of the building. And now, for the Lions, they have to find a way to replace 2 positions of need, head coach and GM. So let's see what will happen in the future. Now, the Lions, to me, they have some key building blocks. You know, you have Matthew Stafford, Jeff Okudah, Kenny Galladay, DeAndre Swift, even TJ Hawkinson. To me, like, people don't really rate him too much, but I think he's a actually good tight end, if you ask me. He's 2 years in the league so far. He's on the come up, if you ask me. So they have some nice pieces, but overall the roster needs some heavy surgery, because listen, this roster will not compete for any title in the division. It won't compete for any playoff spot with the way it is right now. They need some heavy surgery. They need some moves in almost every category. But let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. What will the Lions do in terms of their head coaching spot? Who do you think will be the next head coach of the next season? Could be, there's a lot of head coaches going around right now. Eric Bieniemy, Arthur Smith. Those guys are doing great, having great offensive, play calling for their respective teams. So they could be the next head coach. I hope not, because I definitely want one of those two to be one of my head coaches for next season. But we'll see about that. But guys, that's all that we have for this video. Matt Patricia is finally gone. And to be honest, the Lions are the winners today, because although they made the decision to fire Jim Caldwell when he just brought you back-to-back winning seasons, they made the choice to fire him and bring in Matt Patricia. And look what that got them. Didn't get them that far. But nevertheless, they got rid of him, and now they get a new start. So we'll see how that goes. Guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the video, to the channel. We are back again. And always remember, as I grow, we grow together. Now stay tuned for the next video. Boop.